Yeah, I think there's a lag on YouTube. I noticed the recorded videos are a little behind, so I'm filling time while it catches up. Hello, Joe. You know what
buddy,
I realized?
how are you?
Yeah,
What?
good, man. You're in another part of the world today, or not country world. It is another part of the world technically. So, and you're in a basement.
Yeah, my buddy's place in DC.
Nice.
And it's a little it's like about 55 outside, and it's
super chilly.
I love that weather. But
we had some breezy, cool weather here in Miami this morning.
Oh, I'm back later on today, so
not cool. I mean, cool Miami, cool, not cool, not 55 cool.
Yeah, when I see that thermostat go down to like 72, 73 at night, that's when I kick the windows open and get that fresh air in, and that's when it changes, and we lose that humidity in Miami at that point too. So apologies for the lighting today.
I realized we have to get this big for one reason. We don't eat lunch during DeFi lunch, so I think we need an Uber Eats sponsorship, and they just deliver us lunch every day.
I use them all the time.
But I want them to pay for it. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is some pretty hefty fees around that, but I kind of think it's cool that you could just go scroll through it and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna have Thai tonight, or I'm gonna have this or that.
No, it's nice, but you pay twice the price that you would pay otherwise. It's just painful. So, but but I love Uber Eats.
Yeah.
But I think we should be like smacking on some Thai food while we're I had some sushi yesterday at my little local place here. It was good.
We had a great dinner last night. I'll plug the restaurant in Adams Morgan called Shabu, I think. But it's these hot pots, and they bring out all this meat and other types of products, and you stir it in the pot, and lots of sushi type, tuna tartars, and really, really fantastic. So anybody in DC, go check that place out.
That sounds awesome. We went to Miyako last night, which is near Dayland here in Miami, and they do good sushi. There's a place in Coral Gables we love called Sakura that's pretty awesome. They have a roll called the Pink Panther roll that's probably my favorite sushi ever. It made me think of something and I lost it. I don't know. Okay. That's happening more and more frequently. I think I need to start getting some sleep.
Oh, it's just multitasking.
Yeah, that's it. It's not my age.
Yeah. So well, you hit 29, you're 29 now. So what do you think?
Exactly. That's it. So, all right.
So let's throw up that financial disclaimer right away before we start.
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. Okay, there's the disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. These are just our opinion. We are not yours or anyone's or even our own financial advisors. And everything we talk about here is dangerous and can make you very poor.
Yeah. So, like we say, invest what you can lose, but there are ways to de-risk and accept what is there. Funny that, I told you about that pig blockchain play I was doing in China. And
now, this is like it tracks like the origin of the pigs, right? From the farmer.
Yeah, to the butcher, like where it goes down. I guess they've cut them into 64 parts. Each one is individually tagged on a blockchain. And they were supposedly, said they're putting a node in, I think it's the Department of Agriculture there. And so, before China was issued the 37th notice of cracking down on everything. And so I got in at I think 2.9 cents or something like that, watched it drop down to 1.5 when all the flooding happened. And then over the weekend, there was some news about evidently there is a huge pandemic in the pig population there right now that's going on. And, they're all of a sudden, I looked at it today, it's up 750% this morning. Damn. So, because I looked at it, I said, is that 0.02? Because of course my vision's going. And the token's Pig X. And I said, is that a 20? And, lo and behold, it was at the top of the chart. And I saw, 758% return in the last 6 hours. So I was like, holy moly.
Yeah. And, you could say shit, Joe.
Yeah, holy shit. And so, but this was a total ape in degen play that I just went for because I'm like, oh, that's.
And you're up how much now?
I'm up 750%.
Damn.
So I took the heat going down, 40%. Again, this was a couple $100, throw at it, see what happens, kind of roll the dice. And, it worked. Now I'm in the sort of prisoner's dilemma where I'm like, okay, is this going to really be in play or should I just cash out? And I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not going to rush that one, but I'll probably trim the position just to take the original money off the table and just let the house money ride at that point. And if it goes, it goes. But, this could be, I was also looking at it. Wow, I actually could own some BTC at this point if I so chose. So this is an example of, not many people jumped on this in one of my groups that I'm in.
Yeah.
But, I just was like, I know Chinese eat a lot of pork.
Yeah.
And they import a ton of pork from the US.
That's what I was
Yeah. Yeah. And they basically, it's a staple food supply. And if you know the history, Chinese history, when the agrarian revolution was all about, the workers not having food is when they stormed the streets.
Right.
And the ruling party there is very sensitive to that outcome. So if something were taking out the whole hog herds there, that's going to wreak havoc. And so it's kind of for them, it's sort of a national security issue, I think, keeping the people fed like it is for any government. And so that's kind of what led me to say, oh yeah, I'll throw a couple hundred at it. And, lo and behold, it worked out. So
nice.
Not everyone does, but just wanted to share that little tidbit with everyone.
Awesome.
To get the ball rolling.
All right, let's talk about a little bit of what I think could be a blockbuster moment in the gaming space. So Valve announced the other day that they are blocking blockchain games and NFTs on Steam. Now, I get it. They don't want to deal with tokens, right? But they already have active marketplaces of people selling skins and in-game items, right? So the blocking of NFTs, to me, is just a stupid move. Now, not only did Epic said they will try to make it work, but then they came out this morning, I believe, and said they're actually going to allow NFTs. So, for me, I think this is a really stupid move. Now, Valve has time to change their minds, but I don't see any regulatory hassles with allowing people to buy NFTs that are in-game items, right? That are used for that and resell them. And at the end of the day, Valve has more money than God, right? They're going to get that fine of whatever, 20 million, 10 million if they get fined and move on from there. So from my perspective, this has got absolute utility. NFTs, in-game items, totally has utility. It's something they already allow people to buy and sell. There's a market of these items that happens that aren't NFTs where people are buying and selling them. So they've already allowed an unregulated marketplace in digital assets. That already exists. And they already allow people to buy and sell them. Why would you stop? Why would you stop there? What attorney is saying to them, oh, yeah, once it's an NFT, now you're in trouble, right? This is all, to me, it's all about impressions, right? Maybe they're worried about the fake environmental shit around NFTs. I don't know what it is, but Epic is making the smart move as far as I'm concerned, right? They could say, okay, we're only going to allow layer 2 NFTs, which is great because then, a Polygon or a BSC is not layer 2, but, cheap fees, stake, proof of stake, not proof of work networks, no Ethereum mainnet. Great. So you do that, you have no environmental impact, and you have cheap fees, and you allow people to go to town. Maybe they're just not ready technologically, but I think this is a really stupid move on Valve's part, Steam's part, and I think this is a really smart move by Epic. So.
Well, yeah, I think that, it must be do you think it's a regulatory thing or do you think it's monetary?
Well, I think that's what they whined about. I thought there was something in there about them that they were whining about regulatory issues, but I can't remember. I mean, this game, Age of Rust, had to remove themselves from Steam. They got removed from Steam, right? So where's this guy going to go? He's going to move to Epic, and he's going to take his revenue there. And Steam's going to miss out on incremental revenue. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it doesn't make sense because I know that, look at Aave, everybody knows. Well, first I did check the price of Monavale when you were talking. to see, because they have the NFTs of, you know, of
Yeah.
skins and fashion that are used in these games, and their price hasn't moved. So I kind of thought maybe they'd get a hit, but they're, because it's very low market cap, thinly traded, they're still sitting at around 436, which is, you know, up the last couple of weeks. Second, you know, Aave is coming out with that Bunchy protocol, and where you're going to be able to stake NFTs on Aave and borrow against them, which is, you know, I mean, game changing right there. So what I'm curious about is, does that open up another revenue stream for Aave? If you know, these blockchain games and everything, is there a way to, you know, when gamers play or developers build and get paid in the game tokens or with NFTs, then they could stake the NFTs on hopefully Bunchy on Aave, and then pull down stables to do other stuff or fund more development or scale their businesses. That could be an angle that is worth thinking about. And everybody knows I like Aave. So if they add that piece to it, you know, that's it. I don't want to say game over, but it's going to be a huge lift for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that
value-wise,
that makes total sense.
Interesting. Hasn't Epic? Isn't that the one that's been fighting with Apple or somebody?
They've been taking on Apple. That's the big lawsuit.
Yeah, so they tend to go out of the box in general.
Exactly. And
disrupt those sort of monetary streams to get more. So maybe, you know, I mean, I would see them exploiting this opportunity tremendously at this point.
Yeah.
As to Valve's reasoning, I don't quite get it either. If you already have tokens on the platform, what do the NFTs matter? Why is that something different? You know, I don't know.
It makes zero sense to me, but
yeah,
you know, I'm sure there's an attorney somewhere in a corner office who's scared. And not, you know, there's this thing that happened. I love attorneys. Don't get me wrong. I have been saved by a lot of attorneys in advance, right? By doing the right thing, by hiring them, which I always highly recommend everyone do. But there's attorney in the office saying, don't do this. There's regulatory issues. The government's going to come after them, and the environmental stuff's going to look bad, blah, 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 blah. But what they're not realizing is, because they don't play in the financial world, is it's just going to be a slap on the wrist and a fine. That's the worst case scenario for you. It's not like they're going to come Frog March or whatever it is, the executives of Valve out for having an NFT marketplace on their website. So, you know, I mean, I think it's like, okay, I'm scared. This is uncertain regulatory issues, but you're not taking a massive chance here, Valve.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Epic realizes. Epic's like, well, this is not, what's the problem? So anyway.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, like you said, you know, most of these scenarios play out if the regulators start requesting information, you know, you have to, you know, interface via a lawyer at that point. But if you engage with them, then, you know, like you said, it's usually a fine. And I didn't know that might have been inappropriate securities offering, let's say, because there really wasn't any proper guidance back in the day.
Right.
And so they always, you know, regulatory has to catch up.
Yep.
So, you know, you pay your fine, you move on.
Exactly.
That's it. And then the regulatory agencies learn more and you go forward. And, you know, we have access to, you know, lots of SEC, good attorneys that the SEC likes, let's put it that way, that are on the side of sort of crafting these solutions.
Right.
And it's, you know, it's big brains sorting through what it should be and what it is, regardless of what the legal frameworks define something as, you know.
Yeah.
If it walks like a duck and blah, 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 it's a duck kind of thing. But, you know, that's the way I look at it. So, you know, engage.
Yeah. I thought this was real interesting. Briefly, Square is building an open source Bitcoin mining system. He wants to make Bitcoin mining more accessible to more people. And with the idea that, which I love, I think it's smart, with the idea that it will, the more people individually or in smaller numbers of miners able to mine, the better off the entire ecosystem is, right? Because the more you do that, the more people you have it spread out, the less centralized it is. So you want more miners. So I think that's a cool effort by them.
Yeah. On that note, I'm going to just send you a chart real quick so you can put this up. I'll put it into the launch channel here.
Okay.
It's on mining. So, showing about how all the, the U.S. is the biggest miner around now. It just came through to the.
Where'd
DeFi
you put
lunch.
it?
Telegram. DeFi
Oh, okay.
lunch.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll see how the China crackdown, and basically there is no mining there anymore. So most of it moved to the U.S. Obviously it looks like Kazakhstan's a bit of a player, Russia, Malaysia, Iran has a little small amount going, and then Canada, Germany, Ireland, and other. But in that other category, to what you're saying, is that chart? I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong window here. Did you see it?
I'm opening it now.
Okay.
Had to download it first.
No, it's okay. It was just pasted into Word, so apologies for that. So, look at how big of, China, last year basically was, in 2019, 2020, look, they're at like 70% of plus of the market, 77% it looks like. And then that totally scales down to essentially zero July of this, a couple months ago. And look how the US is expanding there. Right. So we know that the two biggest Chinese miners, I mean, I read it in the press somewhere, Bitmain and the other one, they moved to Texas.
Yep.
So they're there, but that top little gray bar is where I think it ties into what Dorsey's saying, where, remember like the SETI at Home project from years ago where everybody was doing, we called it like distributed processing, I think back then.
Right.
If everybody is now mining Bitcoin on their phones, let's say,
right,
in the cloud or something like that. I mean, talk about decentralization.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it tends to sort of not mute, but dilute the impact of any one big mining group.
Yep.
And and if you look at like how equities work, you institutional buyers and you have retail buyers, and the retail buyers are pretty much the ones that set price. So in this case, if we could get 40 million people mining it, on their phones, a la, that concept, let's say, or in the cloud or whatever. Just think what that does to.
I mean, technologically, that's a big hurdle to overcome for Bitcoin, but there are other tokens that could be done for. And there is the potential to say, okay, how do we create a mechanism that takes all the computing power of these phones and combines them together into one mining operation? I technically don't know how that's done, but it definitely would be awesome. I've got a buddy who's making bank mining Ethereum, Raven, LTC, and some other tokens here in Florida. And, no special deal on electric. He's just cranking away and making a ton of money. Just, a lot of money on every machine. I set up I put out another Alchemix use case yesterday. Was that yesterday or today? Yesterday. I was looking at mining machines and I was like, well, I'd love to do this. It'd be just fun to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to spend like anywhere from 10 to 20 grand to get a mining machine up front. And so then you got to calculate in how many months do I have to go before I'm actually in profit for that machine, right? If I'm averaging $30 a day in tokens, how long does it take me to get to pay off that 10 grand? Well, if you deposit the money you were going to use for machines into Alchemix, take half out and buy your machines, you're immediately profitable. You just have a longer term play on getting your initial costs out. So,
yeah, no, that's a great idea. I mean, there's a lot of those, like I have a group or been talking to a group out of Chicago that's mining ETH up there and looking to get into other tokens. And, they're just cleaning house right now. I mean, really doing well. And so, I think that this is something that, I'm going to start thinking more about myself.
Yeah.
Like that, hey, why not?
Yeah.
It's you can pick the other tokens to mine too.
Yep.
You have to research it, of course, because different rigs are for different types of tokens.
Yeah, it's complex as hell.
So your best bet is really to, I think, remember that, buddy? Was that the guy you were talking about? You sent me the stuff that I think I still owe you a projection.
Yeah, you still owe me a calculator on that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of thing you get in.
That's my way of, I'm picking up tips from my mother-in-law. This is my way of reminding you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my mother-in-law is great for that.
I'm kidding. I didn't even think about it till you just said that. That's hilarious.
I got a couple of those in the rearview mirror.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, real quick pitch for the latest episode out. Kyle Samani, who says in Mission DeFi podcast, DeFi ETH has hit a wall and Solana is the only solution. We go into a lot about Kyle Samani, Multicoin Capital, big hedge fund and VC in the crypto space, has some great investments. Solana, Near, Superfluid, a lot of projects I really like that he's invested in, but he thinks the only thing that could save Ethereum long-term in DeFi is Arbitrum and Optimism, and he's skeptical about whether they will or not. He says examples like DYDX, which are really cool, are not extendable, so they cannot be utilized because they're on Snark. I think it's Snark, whatever, one of those performance optimizing thingies. That they are locked in. They are their own little island. So while it's a really cool platform and does really cool stuff and it's on Ethereum layer 1, ultimately it's not really, because you can't do anything with it. Nobody can connect to DYDX and utilize the functionality of their contracts. But so really interesting. He said a lot of little controversial things. And then we got into a lot of kind of how he built the firm, using content, how they got started, what his background was. Really just a plug. Everybody take a listen. It's a good one.
So what is he, when he's talking about saving ETH, it's funny how he mentions Arbitrum and like Optimism, but didn't mention Polygon?
No mention of Polygon. He's talking about like the scale of transactions per second that a Solana can do, right? So for him now, Hermes by Polygon has the same level of capability as what Solana has. I believe it's similar. So Polygon will have the ability to do that. And I think the difference here that he's probably not talking about or thinking about is that Polygon has an ecosystem of people playing in their platform, right? So if you build a solution that has that level of speed and transactions per second, then you can actually start moving all the projects in your ecosystem in. And Polygon just launched a big DAO to fund projects. And so I think they have a chance actually to really have Polygon become kind of like a layer 1 or treated like a layer 1, because they'll have all of these performance improvement systems. So anyway,
I agree with that. Yeah, because we're big Polygon fans too.
Yeah.
I've been in and out of that since it was like 3 cents or something.
Yeah.
Now what is it? It's about back up to about $1.50 or something like that, or 148.
Yep.
A lot of people are calling it to 350. Now, the thing with Polygon is that, when you look at where their market cap is right now, it's probably around 10 billion at this point.
Right.
So if, conventional thinking would say if the token, doubles in value, then the valuation would be 20 billion. So, when they start being regarded as like a Solana, a layer 1 versus a layer 2 that, we still talk about it as, then I think that could have room to really run. And they're tied into this really cool ecosystem in India, and the other groups like Define that we talk a lot about, and other groups, a lot of good stuff going on in India these days.
Yep.
And so,
cranking.
So they could crank out really good product. And the amount of people, again, they had all that like anti-crypto fudding going on about a year ago there, and then all of these things popped up, and now it's on a path to regulatory framework for them. So it's lots of good stuff to look at, and big ecosystems in play. So if you're in their chats, you see there's tons of South Asians in there, which there's billions. So
absolutely. You sent over this one, buddy. You want to give us a summary on this?
Yeah, it's called the Curve Wars, and it's a little bit about what's going on with Curve, and people will stake on Curve and then or add liquidity on Curve, and then take those liquidity tokens, LPs, and then stake them in other platforms like Yearn and Staker DAO. and a third one now called Convex. Well, this Convex is actually formed by Curve. A lot of these companies all had people that came from Curve and went to Yearn and Staker DAO. So even though they're anonymous, some of those are anonymous teams, if I'm not mistaken, but their roots are all in Curve. So what's going on is Yearn and Staker DAO are fighting it over the governance tokens, governance ability for Curve. So it's a little bit like it's a proxy battle going on.
Nice.
Like you would see in traditional finance, in this space. And then Convex was actually kind of the Trojan horse in there, founded by, it's an anonymous team, but everybody knows, the articles talks about it in there, knows that it's Curve people too. So they've launched their own player in the battle as well, to be able to, counter the Staker DAO and Yearn groups sort of influence on governance. And that's where you do things like, strategic partnerships get voted on, strategic transactions, token dilution, all the things that, change the structure and change the vision of the entity itself. Now, of course, I think these are all DAOs. So, there isn't any control of it other than via the governance tokens. So I like seeing how that's evolving and maturing in that space. And it shows that, people that launch these platforms, they're not going anonymous because they're trying to hide or think they're doing anything wrong or inappropriate. They just don't want to be targets for others. The black hat types. I'm not talking about regulators, but the thieves. And so that's why they're protecting themselves. But it's kind of cool. Now you see, we've talked about these DAOs a lot. You see how this is evolving, where now you're getting more like board level type activity in anonymous DAOs, which is pretty cool. It's a hefty article. I say read through it a couple times, just to pick it up. But
I've posted it in the comments too.
Okay. So other things that are going on. I don't know if you've been tracking inverse finance at all. That's made a
I was just looking at Inverse yesterday. I've never done anything there before. Tell me.
Yeah.
What's the alpha?
I think what's happening there, that I think the yields are higher, and it's an fork or an mimic or whatever. And is it on Avalanche or is it on? It's on another platform. I don't think it's Moon River, because I've heard a lot of people talking about Moon River again. But basically, you have your vaulting concepts, your lockup concepts, all of that, and it's been taken off. So in that whole world of Alchemix, Ohm, Inverse, I think Klima is another one that's doing. Actually, Klima's doing their token launch at 4:00 East Coast time today. So there is already one Klima token listed, I think, on Avalanche that's priced at about 1,400. And these tokens are coming out of the gate at like 323, which was the price of the last round. So if you can get in, which is the challenge in these things, that could be a quick 5x, as it arbs back to what the price is on Avalanche this afternoon. So, I'm going to throw a couple grand at it and see what happens.
Okay.
So I'll either report the good news or not talk about it much.
Look at this. What is this? 408.76% on Inverse and Dola. Dola is their stable coin.
Yes, that's the play that everybody's talking about. So
right there.
It's something to really look at. People are saying, crypto, Twitter, some smart money guys in there think this can go to 50,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know if there's something they're doing that prevents like the big whale sell-offs, or it's the ecosystem kind of has a built-in ARB adjustment into it. So the users are kind of setting price, and something to do with the DOLA makes it so it's, all the interests are aligned and incentivized properly to like hold optimal amounts to maintain the peg, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
Or whatever they're claiming the name of it is. But it's, again, these baskets of assets backing the stable coin. That's not like it's other crypto tokens
Right.
that are stabilizing it. It's not, it's not like a one-to-one thing in a bank account.
Okay.
It's buckets of tokens. So you should put your brain into that one a little bit, figure out what's going on there. Because you seem to be the most on top of those platforms right now.
I was just looking at it yesterday because I think I caught whiff of that attention. So I'll take a closer look.
Yeah, and they are tight with they are tight with the Omis, friends, and it's kind of like with Klima, it's the same thing. I think I saw which one, Scoopy or Scooby? Yeah, talking about how with Klima that they're not in it, that they're friends. This is not there's some people think these are like LP token, kind of vamp attacks trying to like grab with the curve wars.
Yeah.
But he said no, he's like an investor in
Wait,
Klima.
Scoopy at Alchemix?
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking about
but Klima's like a fork of Olympus DAO, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But he's talking about there's some partnership going on in amongst all these big ones.
Yeah.
I might be mixing a little bit of news together here, blending it. Sorry, late dinner last night.
That means late drinks last night.
Yeah, but that's it's humorous, it's funny, but you always pay the price the next day.
Exactly.
But they're all like in a little fraternity.
Yeah, it's a DeFi 2.0 frat.
Yeah. So when anybody comes in, if they're tied to one or two like legacy members,
Mafia,
then money flows in fast. So
there's
any of these that are around the OMI universe, let's say, Alchemix, all of that, look for the new ones that pop up, and that's kind of where Klima's coming in on that, in the fact that they're they have those carbon offsets, and so some people don't like it because they're just climate deniers or something like that, or they don't believe in carbon offsets. But to me, I'm like, I remember when they started doing that, like I think it was the 90s or something like that.
Yeah.
The first ones being traded out.
Yep.
That goes up and down in price too.
Yep.
So I think their token is the BCT or something like that, basic carbon something on Klima. So to me, I heard somebody saying, oh my God, this is going to drive the price of carbon credits up or something. And I'm like, who cares? Does let the market set the price.
Exactly.
So if coal factory number one or coal plant number one needs to offset credit, I don't give a hoot if they have to pay more for it.
Yeah.
But people have a philosophical problem with that, and they don't like that little Scandinavian gal who is the passionate climate activist, Greta Thunberg. Yeah, some people don't like her, and I'm like, I guess they probably had some hard driving big sisters and moms in their lives, so they're white. So they pick on that girl.
Who
and
doesn't?
I'm like, yeah. And so I'm like, just grow up, man up. And
look, I mean, there's a whole segment of the crypto world that's not going to be into it, doesn't believe it. Look, they have a far different political bent than we do, and that's where they are. That's cool. Whatever.
But the religion is money. Okay.
Exactly.
And so if you can deploy capital,
yes,
I'm a capitalist, to address a market need,
yes,
which is, in this case, climate change, then hey, give them a shot.
Exactly.
Let's see if it works.
It's like that. It's like that whole thing of if you're not sure if climate change is real or not, why wouldn't you make money on climate change remediation? Right. So, make some money. Let's drive fixing this shit with money, because that's what always works the best.
Yep. Exactly. Nobody really, I mean, there are people that just do stuff altruistically, but you really have to have the money behind it to make these.
When there's a profit motive or an incentive, you're going to get a much faster fix to a problem. It may not be perfect, but you'll get a much faster fix. Quick update. Speaking of money, which is all we talk about, but I needed a segue. That indexed finance hack exploit. They have been able to track down exactly who the hacker is, who the exploiter is. They know his name. They know his Twitter handle. They know everything about him. They had made an offer for him up through the 16th to keep 10% if he returned 90%. and the offer expired. He did not return the funds. And they have now said that they will be publishing. That was on the 16th. I looked to see if there were any updates today, and there haven't been any big updates. But essentially, they're going to notify law enforcement of his name. Evidently, he's young, and they are going to publish his information, dox him publicly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, you know, the interesting thing about this is why are so many of these exploiters so fucking stupid? If you're smart enough to do these complex hacks, why the fuck are you using a wallet that has been used and connected to Kraken and Binance with KYC in place? I mean,
yeah,
what the hell is wrong with you? Why? Please, I just don't understand. I mean, it's like, you know what? I want to get caught. I think subconsciously that's a lot of what's happening here, because it's like, how can you be this friggin' stupid to go through all this hassle of committing a crime and then not have enough sense to use a clean wallet? It's incredible to me.
Well, I think that, you know, as we talk a lot about, you know, I think most of the wallets are already ID'd and tagged to specific people.
Yeah, but you can clean a clean one. You can create a clean one.
Yeah.
Install a browser, install MetaMask, tunnel in with VPN, you know, and boom, you got a new wallet. And then don't send anything to it from your other wallets.
Yeah. It's from your KYC wallet.
Exactly.
That's like, what are you thinking? It almost makes it seem like somebody set them up, or
I mean, I sound like I've been thinking about this. I haven't, but it's like, you know, tornado's there, wash your ETH, put it back into the new wallet. I don't get it. I really think there's a subconscious motive that they want to get caught. Because I can't understand any other reason for it.
I tend to think that, you know, I mean, I've run into plenty of people in my career where it seemed like, you know, it's sort of like I remember when I was a kid and, you know, I'd be out in the dirt, you know, building a town with, you know, had my cars out there, whatever, Matchbox or Hot Wheels or whatever they were. You'd build this city. And so you build a city and then you drive the car down the little dirt road with your hand in the sandbox or whatever. And you do that once and you're like, okay, so what do we do next? And you're like, let's bomb it. So you destroy it, you know? And I think that particularly in the male psyche, there is this thing about, you know, build, destroy. And it's something that you have to think through. And you know, I think that's in our nature, you know, frog and scorpion kind of stuff. But, you know, and they say with gamblers, you know, they say what they really get the most high on, the most dopamine, is that fear of, you know, when the dice are spinning and they've got the house or the college on the line for their kids, is that excitement of it possibly losing all of that.
Yeah.
And having to rebuild is what they want. Where, you know, I mean, I do a little bit of that sometimes, but, you know, for me, it's like, I'm for the win. You know, I want the money. You know? My excitement is the winning part. And, but, you know, there are people out there that go the other way. But yeah, as to like, you know,
it's crazy.
Yeah. How you do that and don't do it, you know, to me, I'm like, just report the guy. But it sounds like he's a kid, like you said.
Yeah.
And they've been giving away everything on their phones from day one. Yeah. They just don't realize. So they're used to the sharing and they kind of think that they're anonymous in ways, I think, but they don't realize that they're just leaving trails everywhere.
Exactly.
It's incredible. Down, so
Chris, well, and Letitia James is coming after you if you're in New York. So be careful. New York Attorney General Letitia James basically saying, you know, helping further the cause that nobody in crypto should do a damn thing in that nanny state, because the politicians in that state are out to crunch everything down. Right. And, you know, this is being a lot. Look, I'm a lifelong Democrat, but this is being led by progressives. And if you call yourself progressive, you're anything but progressive. But by progressives that wants to control the money. They want to believe that the only way to help people is via the state. And I am actually an advocate for a lot of ways to help people via the state. Number one, getting rid of a lot of welfare type programs with a UBI. Give people money.
Yeah.
Get rid of the bureaucracy. Get rid of the bullshit, and just give people money. The data supports that it works. That people actually work more, start businesses, do more when you just give them cash, right? It's been proven in multiple countries and multiple studies. But here you have a state hell-bent, the politicians in a state, the far left wing of the party, hell-bent on controlling the money because they think they know best for poor people. And they don't think that the average person is smart enough to figure out what they should and shouldn't do with their money. And that's partially true because we don't actually educate people about money. The great thing about the DeFi space is you come in here, you learn your lessons really fast because you get burned once, you're going to be very cautious about the things you do. You get burned the second time, you're a PSYOP security specialist. So I get incredibly frustrated and angry with this, this angle that they're trying to help people when in fact what they're doing is taking away freedom of choice from people, from things and lessons they need to learn. No one is ever going to get better about money if they don't learn how to make mistakes first. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think in this situation, I think the way we always think about it is the example of, grandma getting hustled on the phone to something, swindled into something or whatever, and people being preyed upon and taken advantage of. And I think, honestly, that's what the regulators in their mind is the superseding precedent or the superseding item. And so they err on that side. But on the other hand, the average consumer really doesn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember up at one of the consensus blockchain events in Manhattan a few years ago, standing out in front, I think it was at the Hilton, and, seeing like tourists on the sidewalk, and they're like, hey, what's going on over there? And then somebody goes, oh, that's just that Bitcoin stuff, And so it's, or Coinbase stuff or something. They would that was the level of what they knew.
Right.
And so I could see that, people do get hustled and ripped off. But, if you study the space and you experience in there, you learn what is good and bad and what goes wrong and all of those things. And then you make your own decisions. I mean, Luckily, I have an MBA in corporate finance. So I've been looking at stuff like this my entire life. And, we both have huge amounts of, early stage technology company experience from startup through IPO. So we know where the inflection points, so we can evaluate stuff and look what's credible, but most people can't. So I don't know what the bottom.
Well, look, I think the bottom line
is, but
I think the bottom line is there are going to be companies that are going to make this simple for people. There's going to be Robinhood and Coinbase, but Coinbase gets told by the SEC, kill your lending product. We're not going to let you. We're coming after you, right? It's this kind of bullshit that means two things. People aren't going to get to take advantage of DeFi. They're not going to figure out how to make money from their money. And once again, it'll just be the wealthiest people in the country who can make money from money, right? And that's what our system does today. That's why the accredited investor rules are so shitty. That's why so much of the system is oriented to the wealthy being the only ones smart enough to make money. But what if you actually said, you know what, we're going to educate people and we're going to let companies like Coinbase and Robinhood and others start these products because we do want poor people to not be poor anymore. We want them to be able to take 10% of their check every week or 5% of their check every week and earn some interest on it besides 0.003% that their shitty bank is giving them for after they take $3,000 in bounce check charges every year out of the poor's pocket, right? That's to me, I just think the incentives are screwed up. I think the system is screwed up. I don't think we actually are taking the time to educate people. Look, I don't have an MBA in business or finance. Everything I know is self-taught, right? And I am no genius. I just dive in and learn from my mistakes and try things. And we have to figure out how to tell people how to do that. Instead, what we tell people is the state's going to tell you where you can put your money. And we don't allow them to actually make money. And so to me, that's why this is so important. So,
well, anyway. I think that, I everything you say, I agree with. But to me, so I always go back on, are they protecting, say, monopolies? Is that
Right.
what this is really about? Or is it something a little different? Now, the reason the accredited investor stuff works, it's not because there's, I mean, there is the sophisticated investor exemption, but it's because they can absorb the losses. But there's remember all those early stage Series A deals we were in years ago, where you're, financing something and you have to sign 10 pages of documentation that basically says, I can lose all this money and I'm not going to lose my house, kind of thing. I think that's their perspective. And, obviously I think if I'm a banker, I'm thinking of, a deposit institution that, I'm like, holy shit, these guys could get yield over here at this amount. Why are they going to leave money in the bank in a CD making, negative interest on it? So it's a threat to them in a way. But as I said before, they can take these technologies and deploy them in-house to their people and their products and save money. So it expands their margin. So maybe the price they charge for things goes down, but the cost is dramatically dropped, exceeds the drop in cost exceeds the drop in price. So they're making more cash flow. So as they figure this out, they're going to see things. Now, I did see an interesting commercial somewhere about an app for kids where it's a banking app and they learn about money there and how it works. And so I was thinking about getting my daughter on that just so that she knows what I do and, is always asking me questions. And I could see she wants to learn, and I'm trying to make sure that she does learn that, because I didn't really understand money when I was a kid either.
Yeah, me neither.
How it works. And I was the guy in college who would go, pull out $20 with a bank card, and they would let me overdraft my account and then charge me like $60 for that.
Exactly.
And, then I'm bringing it up. But, it's that kind of stuff. You go, holy shit, I better, from now on, I should look at the balance first, kind of thing. And because we were just used to it, but it has to be learned. And everything in this space, we've been talking about this, and that's what prompted these broadcasts, was that we have chats like this all day. And we thought, why not just do it live and see if people learn from us from our mistakes? We've made them.
Totally.
And so I agree. I don't know what the balance is on all of this. I mean, I get it, protect the consumer. I get it, protect the financial system. But I don't get is that you don't have to have an education to really know how to invest your money in this stuff. And so where's the balance? Hopefully somebody will figure it out.
What's this distalpunks thing?
Oh, it was just an NFT launch. It was in one of my channels. There's a group that rolls into these like issuances, and they seem to be making like 5-8x on their money in a matter of a week or so. I think it's another one I just thought I'd share that with you. Where I think that it gravitates toward a staking one, where you can borrow against it somewhere. But that's punks is always super popular.
Oh, and they're putting them in an indie game.
So
and they have a token. Creds utility token. Creds, CREDS. Is it out now? Let's see. Degen token on Dex.Guru. By the way, one of the best platforms. I love Dex.Guru.
We'll have to check that out.
It's no, they don't pay me anything.
Nobody pays us anything here, guys. So that's the other thing. So
but we will take it.
But we'll start putting a tin cup donation page up soon.
Oh, look at that. Look at that pump and dump, though.
Ooh. But, this is
131% and back down.
I'm afraid to go over and look at my pig company here. See what the hell's going on there. We'll see if that's.
What's the token on the pig?
Pig X. It's still holding at 20 cents, 19.9, it looks like.
Is that a Polygon?
No,
or ETH?
It's
mainnet.
No, I'm on what? Well, I'm
this is
connected
Pig
to Polygon.
X.
Okay.
On ETH. This is Pig X on Ethereum. It's at 0.023.
Yeah, it's in this is on XT. I'm on that xt.com exchange.
What the hell is that?
I don't even know. It's somewhere in Asia.
So Dex doesn't have that. All right.
No. So, but volume looks like,
This looks like fun though, the distalpunks. So are you still good
yes.
on your gains on the pigs?
Yeah. We're still at, up
The pigs
757%.
should do some NFTs. That blockchain should do some pig NFTs. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're probably walking a tight line in the sense of,
in China.
supposedly,
Oh, yeah, that's a blockchain play.
Yeah, and they supposedly have a node in like the agriculture government office, because they want to watch that stuff too, pork safety. But it is what it is. I'm probably going to yank it, but just for yucks, because
take the money and run.
Yeah, so that's the lesson. The only buy-in and holding I really do. Like I've jumped into Geist, and Geist has been taking a hit, but to me, it's similar to like Ohm.
Holy shit, Scott! Damn. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish that.
No, go ahead. No, it's but what's happening is that I'm down on price, but I'm staked on the platform, and so I've like doubled the stack, just from farming at 3,000% interest. So even though I'm down 40% on price right now, I'm technically up, because all of those tokens are zero cost tokens.
Nice.
So
nice. The power.
So think about that when you're looking at price on anything. But also, I always trim the sales, as I say. I always trim the position a little bit when it's up like this. At least take my original money, the principal, off the table.
Absolutely. So DistoPunks is a dystopian version of CryptoPunks. This is brilliant. And look at the floor price, 9 ETH already.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And look, they're pixelated dystopian versions of all the existing punks. So what's brilliant is everybody that owns a punk goes, oh, I got to have the dystopian punk.
Yeah.
And they know they can afford it.
They want to complete the set,
That's
so
freaking awesome. I love smart people making money.
Yeah. And these people have been cleaning up, because sometimes in these, like you buy slots, they auction slots off for the tokens or the NFTs themselves, or there's ways you get in earlier at like if you got the token maybe really super early, and then they airdrop these NFTs into your wallet, and all of a sudden you're looking at something that's worth 9 ETH in your wallet that you basically didn't pay for. So boom. A lot of people hold, but if somebody's giving me a 9 ETH NFT, I'm pretty much probably going to sell it.
Hell yeah.
So because I'm like, sell it and buy the next one.
Yeah.
So there's this circuit of NFTs coming out. If you get into all of them, they're appreciating, just like if you're owning equities.
That's fun. So, by the way, I had a dev reach out to me about about Kilroy.
Oh,
from
good.
The show. So we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, no, definitely want to, you brought up universal basic income earlier, and, that's something that I've talked a lot about too. And, just shoot the shit with people about. And, it's, if you look at like, a social safety net and for everybody, you're born in this country, whatever, bang, here's a wallet. Yeah. And it's got these in it. And if you buy that everything's appreciating, in a basket of assets, obviously, stuff that could generate return.
Yeah.
Then, when they're 16, 17, 18, there's some decent stream coming off of
Hell
that.
Yeah.
So to me, that's that could be game changing. And I'd love to figure out a way to do something with Kilroy that does that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
As a UBI. So we'll talk more about that. And of course, if we decide to do anything, we'll tell everyone here.
Thursday, my buddy Corey Cottrell will be joining us live from Blue Deck. And Blue Deck is on the blockchain that you have probably never heard of. And that's Wax. Wax is like I don't know the technical, it's like a subchain of EOS. But it's got a huge NFT marketplace going on that blockchain. And my man Corey and his friends and team have built on that blockchain a Minecraft-based metaverse that has NFTs in it. So plots of land in this Minecraft world are NFTs. So what Corey said was, well, I've got this burgeoning, growing NFT world on Wax, right? But what's Wax missing? Wax has a couple of DeFi plays. There's a swap site, Alcor, etc. But what they don't have is full-on yield farming, liquidity providing at real scale. So they're building a really beautiful yield farming operation that uses liquidity pools from the existing systems, but really impressed with how fast they're cranking this out. Something else that world needs desperately is a bridge from Ethereum and Polygon and BSC onto Wax. I think there's a real opportunity here. There are 6 million users on the Wax protocol. It's founded by one of the original founders from USDT. And it is 5,000 transactions per second. All the code is not, you don't have to be a Solidity dev. It's actually based on C++ or EOS.io. So it's got a world of developers out there that could be developing for this blockchain that don't know Solidity yet, right? So there's a huge opportunity to recruit into it. And high performance, very fast, has a lot of NFT users. So people who are used to trading in marketplaces, but are not probably fully exposed on the DeFi side. So I think there's a really strong opportunity here. I'm really excited for Corey and what they're building, and I'm going to really look hard at potentially doing some other stuff. Oh, they are adding in a few months EVM compatibility. So you'll be able to bring your Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, dApps, Phantom, dApps from those chains over to Wax. So I think
what's the token for Wax? What's the?
It's just Wax. There's an Ethereum version, Wax E, and then the Wax P is the native version. His token is Blue, BLU, on the Wax chain.
BLU. Okay.
Yep.
We'll take a look at those. Yeah, no, it's.
He's launching today. So.
Well, what stands out to me on this? It's the Minecraft angle. And how many Minecraft users are there?
Oh, I mean, gazillions.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds of millions. So, and they're kind of familiar with in-game purchases and, say it's NFT basically, whether it's a sword or it's something else in a way, it's something that people would want. So I think we just cross them over to where all of a sudden now there's a way to convert that into money.
Yep.
And you have a cross-platform tokens, essentially, like that group. I was involved with a group a couple of years ago that was trying to do that and actually got the SEC no action letter, but they don't seem to really be doing anything with it. I think the market sort of passed them by. They've
built a better metaverse, better than all the other ones, because people know Minecraft. They know how to navigate in it. All the functionality of the game is there. So what happened is people bought all these plots of land and then they come in and they're building really cool shit. Oh, the other thing is if you own a plot of land, you get money every time somebody crosses your plot of land. So you're encouraged to build really cool shit that makes people come to your land.
Well, see, what would be neat is, we sort of talked about this before, but, think about an arcade of all those Doki Doki Gachapon machines, just like in real world, where you go into the virtual world here on your plot of land and you could come in and, spin for NFTs, participate in those fair launches. And then also marketplaces. Like when you're going to OpenSea, you see all the NFTs, but what if you could walk into a virtual gallery in this world and the NFTs are on the wall? Yeah. And your avatar's walking around there looking at them.
Yeah. They have that in their worlds. They have full-blown NFT galleries, the whole bit. This is really a brilliant thing.
Yeah, so I love this idea. I mean, there's another one. I don't know, Ghost Token, Avagachi, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
G8. They're doing their first ever land sale in 10 days. I've got the information somewhere, but I was thinking about going in and buying some.
Sushi is doing a metaverse as well on their NFT platform. I don't think they've launched yet. They were behind schedule last time I talked to their CMO.
But these are interesting because these are real estate plays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's very cool. There's so much cool shit happening.
Yeah. So if you think that, we were talking about this for 20 years, these sort of augmented reality, virtual reality spaces. Whatever the exact proper word is. But, I remember, where you could come in and like, with hand motions, move files around and route things and do actual work processes. It's coming now, and it's coming in ways that, via these platforms, these metaverses that we never really realized in the first kind of thought inception times. So, this stuff is the logical next step. And plus it translates. People get real estate if they don't even know NFTs or crypto. They know real estate. So when you start talking about these land grabs and cornering prime lots, and, I always remember some friends of mine from Texas that, their grandfather basically owned half of downtown Dallas at one point, when it was, dirt. And, he basically had that land and turned it into parking lots for like when cars came, and they eventually sold it, 20 years ago for something, like $8 billion or something. Well, Prologis in China, they bought up all the rundown industrial space in the core areas and put up warehouses. But their long game strategy is not warehouses, it's redevelopment in 80 years. When, all of a sudden you've got core downtown real estate that you're going to redevelop into some better use than parking lots or warehouses. This is what's happening in these metaverses right now. And if you have access to them, go in and, mess around and try and score some land in there, because eventually it's going to be all gone. And, I presume there'll be multiple ones, just like there's multiple, say, layer ones in blockchain. But, maybe one wins out, like cars. At one point there was like 2,000 car companies in Detroit. Well, I don't know if they're all still in Detroit, but let's say in the US, there's now 3 main ones. So maybe 4, I guess. But, of those, that round, there's 3 left. And there were another couple thousand in Chicago, but, the auto industry got centered on Detroit. So, these can start mining, the same thing. Railroads, the same thing. Internet.com's the same thing. So you kind of get something where you anticipate where everything's going to go and stake a position there, stake a claim. And then maybe it turns into something, but you'll have fun and you'll learn something in the process.
All right, we're an hour in. You want to wrap it up, or you want to go into something else?
Just wanted to remind everybody that there is that Klima sale today. So go check that out. And just, I think it's coming out at 323. They think it's there's another token, A Klima, which I think is the Avalanche version or something. And it's, priced at about 1,500 now. So it should this one should arb up to 1,500. It sounds like, from what everybody's talking about, but I don't know. Well, I'm going to try it out today. I'll let you guys know how it turned out tomorrow. What chart is that?
What's that?
What chart was that? I just saw that.
Oh, this is PigX, but I don't think it's your PigX, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, they did the reason I found out about this company was pretty interesting. They did an airdrop into all the Polygon wallets. So I looked in and I had like 0.01 PigX. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I researched and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Nice.
And so that's when I went for it. But, they don't all work that way. I just kind of had some historical experiences that tied into it. But, I don't know who they are and I don't know what it's going to turn into. But it was an DGen 8 play that has worked out so far. Now, I'm going to go in and transfer that shit out of there right away as soon as we finish this up. But, and sell some of it. But, that's what we try to do. And I think like Klima, hopefully can duplicate it there. And then whatever I do on that, I'm going to roll into that Avagachi land sale, or perhaps this one, Blue DAC or Blue TAC, your buddies.
Blue DAC. Yeah,
because that's the future of this. It's not, yield farming. Some people think that, the smaller ones, are going to get gobbled up, which they will. I mean, that's the way nature works. But you got to pick the ones that make the most sense. So like when we looked at I had a couple of things on the pools real quick. I didn't see anything super exciting on Sushi. There's some high APY pools on QuickSwap. They pulled out some new dual token pools all around Matic that look pretty cool. I believe that's on Define. I'm still, holding all the Monavale.
Ooh, I got to see some advanced screens because they asked for my feedback on the executive team of the new Define interface that's coming, and it's really nice.
Tied
really
to the
nice.
router?
What's that?
Router?
No, this is just they're revamping I gave them a ton of feedback on their interface and functionality and everything, and they're revamping the entire interface for this and for mobile. And it's going to be really nice, really tight, really concise. They're really taking to heart the better UI, better UX stuff. So,
yeah, no, I mean, I think you see that theme out there, and where people talking about that's what has to happen next. And you think about it, it makes total sense. Like I remember when a lot of these groups were coming out with auto compounding, staking, to save you from having to do it yourself every day. Now, the ones that on layer one, they buried the fees in the staking process, so you didn't see them. These innovations happen to make it easier for the users.
yeah.
So I think that your expertise in that area is going to go a long way to solving this problem for a lot of people, where people are comfortable with it. I saw. I'm there. I'm still in the matrix pool, and I'm still in the curve pool, and I'm in the dual token pool router define, and then the rest of the define I just pour into that vault. The V define vault. Getting 65% interest or something there. And I use that as my, pairing define. So if I buy more curve, then I pull some out of there and add it to the pool, and then restake the LP tokens. They're doing some stuff on Hermes DeFi a little bit, as is Crystal. And I looked at that once. You could take the router define pool LP tokens and stake them over there. But I just wasn't super comfy with it because a lot of those pools were very, very small amounts of TVL. So I bailed on it, but it was referred by the defined people, so it's in their ecosystem.
Well, Hermes is Polygon. That was they merged with Hermes.
Oh,
yeah.
When did that happen?
That's owned by Polygon. That was like 2 months ago. That's if I'm not mistaken, this is an Optimism based, or no, ZK rollup based layer 2. That's supposed to be incredibly powerful. So I think this is more a play on performance, but I guess they're also launching some DeFi plays within it. I don't know. So
yeah, so that might be. So that's probably why they didn't have a lot of activity or robustness. Which I like to see pools with 37 million in them.
Yeah, sure.
I like to see TVL of at least 100 million on a platform.
Yeah,
and I just didn't see it, but I like the functionality of the site, and they had some pretty cool things. But it sounds like they're building for the big scale up, so I might have to look up that token again.
Yeah.
And then Crystal, I'm still in the, I pulled the stuff I had on Cometh, the Azuki ETH pool. I pulled all that down just because it was only giving me like 65% APR.
Yeah.
And, the Cometh guys they're great guys. They really like the game side. They're
they're so focused on that.
Yeah, so you don't see a lot of. There's a cool ETH staker DAO pool there that I think does 100%. I was in that in the past, but I took that down, and I'm just holding the ETH. I staked it onto Aave or a lending platform, just because I think ETH moves fast when it moves, and I don't want to, all of a sudden Azuki's going the opposite direction, so it eats into my ETH gain. I'd rather leave that in spot long right now, and borrow on it, but. I didn't add more to the Crystal pool. There's that Azuki Matic pool there. I didn't add more to that because, I don't want to have too much platform concentration. So
yeah, I'm clearing $120 a day on Crystal, I think, right now. So
I'm doing about 60 a day.
Yeah.
So I like that, but I just don't want to load more up on that one because
I agree
about diversifying across these platforms because you don't know what is going to happen.
Exactly.
So I think that's all I was. Oh, and the Phantom stuff.
Hey, I think I'm going to jump into.
Like I told you, that's down.
I think I'm going to jump into Wonderland over there. The Olympus clone on Phantom.
W Memo. Yeah, I'm in that one.
Time.
Yeah, but isn't that the one like a wrapped time that is?
I haven't looked at Memo yet at all, except we talked about it that day. But
well, I haven't seen it. It's funny. It said just leave it in your wallet and you're in 52,000% interest. But I have a feeling you must have to stake that LP token somewhere. And I just know nothing about Avalanche.
This is just like, I'm sorry, Avalanche, not Phantom. This is just like Olympus. You buy the time token, you stake it here, you make the 56,000%. There's no LP.
So you can't. So, but I noticed the Phantom equivalent, which is that, wrap little w, then MEMO, is the time token supposedly.
Oh, so they wrapped
Phantom.
time on Phantom. That's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
So I don't get, it doesn't seem like it's getting that 52,000% interest in my wallet. And I'm wondering if you have
it's not going to get in your
Avalanche.
wallet. Yeah, I don't know what that token is.
I'm trying to figure
Wonderland
it out.
money is now here. It is. I'll take a deeper dive on that. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
but I think I'm going to dive in here.
I would.
I think I'm going to put like 1,500 in there and just see what happens.
And finally, I'll wrap up on one more. We talk about sometimes Moon River, another layer one.
Oh, wait. Sorry, Joe. I figured it out.
Oh, what is it?
So you stake the time, you get memo tokens. That's the stake tokens. In Ohm on Olympus, it's S-Ohm tokens are what you get. So you take the memo tokens, and I bet there's something to play with over on Phantom with those wrapped tokens. That's what it sounds like it is. Okay,
no,
I get it.
Right. There's a liquidity pool there that is MIM and W memo.
Got it.
So MIM's another Wonderland
got it.
coin, I believe. So
okay.
I've been digging into that too. It looks like a solid play.
Got
it. Coming off Avalanche to the other chains, I need to sort of get a little Avalanche exposure in general. That's AVAX is the token symbol. Because it's getting a lot of good press. Now, finally, last thing, Moon River. A lot of people were skeptical of it, and someone did a rug check, and it's come back clean on that. I noticed people's liking it. There's like some kind of an Ohm or Wonderland play or something going on there on Moon River. So start thinking about that one a little bit more and just see if it makes sense. Because the feedback in these channels is actually pretty positive on it. I have heard people say it's kind of slow, but people are going from ETH to it, and it seems super fast. So I'll leave it on that because of course we're over time, but I could talk forever. Oops, I can't hear you. Hold on.
Oh, I got to run, buddy.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Again, everybody, throw up that financial disclaimer real quick.
Oh yeah, good idea. We are not your financial advisors. Do your own research.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Later, man.
Hopefully, talk to you later, buddy. All right,
bye.